And this is the bottom line. I run an e-commerce business that averaged 40k a month. I'm learning a new language. I'm also trying to master swing trading, while of course trying to maintain a good social and romantic life. I've joined the boxing club and I go to the gym consistently. And somehow I'm still able to fit in all of the small hobbies that I enjoy doing the most. Things like watching my favorite show, going to a certain restaurant that I really like to eat at, or even just playing some Overwatch, with the boys. Somehow it seems like I've got more time to myself than I actually do. But I really don't. I've just built the system around a couple rules, which is allowing me to make the most value out of the time that I'm using. And in this video, I'm going to show you 4 rules that I'm using to maximize my time management and productivity. Because in my opinion, it always comes down to the idea of how are you using your time? You think your day is running out. What happened prior to the hour of you thinking your day ran out? Was it something of value? Or was it you worrying about the day finally finishing? Rule number 1, dump your mind. There are numerous studies that showcase the importance and benefit it is to your mental clarity when you do attempt to journal. So this means that you can't necessarily use a digital journal, although a lot of people like to think they can do that. The psychological benefit really comes from the idea of using a pen onto a piece of paper and then writing something out. In this video, I'm going to show you actually a quick trick on how you can start off your first ever journal. The thing is, you can do this in 2 ways. You can do a general brain dump where you just talk about anything that's literally in your mind right now, or you can actually delegate it and put it in a way where you have a form of timeline on what you want to speak about in terms of this brain dump and what you want to achieve and what you want to do and what is causing for your brain to be the way it is really. And I'll show you what works out the best for me essentially. I'm just like, very simple. Me, but what do I want to do? I'm right now trying to really maximize my trading, for example. So swing trading. What about it? It's really hard because it's a new skill that I'm trying to learn, and because it's a new skill, I'm really struggling to get a hold of it, and I'm not entirely sure how other people are able to get a hold of it so quickly while I'm struggling so much. But I'm hopeful just because I've got the right support around me. So I know sooner or later I'll be able to do the right thing. So that's one section of my brain done. Let's do another one. My content creation, for example, like this YouTube channel. It's very hard. Trying to stay consistent while doing all these things, and on top of that, improving your content as well. But I'm hopeful because I am able to see a pattern of my views increasing and subs, even though it's little. This is my second brain dump. So, and I will do little sections like this, literally like 7 or 8 of them fully. And if you don't like this one, you can try another way, which I described before, which is basically delegating your task towards what you want to do. As in your short-term goals or even your long-term goals, Okay, for example, hit 1,000 active subs for long form, hit 500k subs from the short form, master your thumbnails, manage your upper routine, build a community, hit 100k organic views of special viewers, and so forth and so forth. These arrangements of my goals really allows me to understand what am I working towards, what am I trying to do here really. So if you're into this kind of psychology-based productivity, plus a bunch of practical tips to eliminate your procrastination, do consider subscribing to this channel, because that's pretty much all I talk about on here. The second rule applies to your mindset. It's something that's very important to keep you going, and it's important for you to keep your discipline. So the more discipline you have, the more of a clarity you'll build towards the work that you produce. And that is something I call anti-goals. Everyone talks about what they want to achieve, but nobody speaks on the idea of what they want to avoid in life. Is it the idea that you have to listen to your boss constantly? Is it the idea that you have to work at a job that you don't enjoy working at? People always talk about, I want this, I want that, and I want this, but never speak about how do I avoid this and how can I get away from that. These are literally the things that are affecting me the most. So I think you could start off with 3 anti-goals. You don't even have to write them down if you don't want to. Just think of them. What are 3 things that I want to avoid in life? And how can I use these things to my advantage to motivate me to be more disciplined? I'll be very vulnerable right now. I hate the idea of living to paycheck, because that's pretty much what I was doing initially. As soon as my rent was paid off, I was flat broke. I had nothing else going on, nothing to invest in, nothing to put aside for something else. And this is something that really motivated me to constantly stick to my goals. A second antidote that I used was becoming a figure that lacks education. I hated the idea of people looking at me, people that I love, so that could include my parents, my friends, my siblings, and potentially even my own children, looking at me as a person that's not really well known in the idea of what they want to do in life and what they have already known and what kind of knowledge they've acquired. I want to be somebody who's knowledgeable. I want to be somebody that can say a couple things and be proficient in a few things as well. And I hate the video see me like somebody that is just good at nothing. And that's something that very much motivates me to chase these goals that I'm doing, like my trading, like my e-commerce business, like the fact that I'm learning a new language. These are all things which are motivated by this anti-goal of me not wanting to be somebody that's not educated. Rule number 3, the Eisenhower matrix. It's a very simple diagram which you can write down in your notebook, or you can even do digitally. But it's very important that you use this if you feel like the work isn't being done in the proper manner that it's supposed to be done at. 4 boxes, just like this, which you can just do in your notebook or whatever. 1 is do, 1 is schedule, or whatever that says. 1 is delegate, and 1 is delete. Of course, you'd be written away in a nice way. Like I've got some examples right here, and the idea is that what in your current day and in your current schedule, how can you implement those things into these 4 boxes, and how is it able to help you? Essentially, so for example, in my case right now, at this very moment, if I was to say do, my main priority right now at this moment is filming this video, is editing it, and making sure it's of the best quality that I want it to be. So that means that doesn't mean I want to finish it. It just means that I want to be able to be in a position where I know I've completed a good amount of quality work. And this is my main important thing today. This is my main do today. Schedule. So because my main focus today is making the video and editing the video potentially, I'm going to schedule all of my other things that I wasn't going to do. I usually try to learn some swing trading day by day on some basic tutorials and whatnot, and checking out some charts and some strategies. I'm going to schedule this for probably tonight when I get maybe a spare hour or 30 minutes later on after I've completed my work. Because at the end of the day, I'm not able to, unfortunately, edit and film for 24 hours. 5 hours what I got max, and then I've got to stop and do something else and or get back to it later on. So I'm probably going to schedule some trading, some strategies later on for the next 30 to 1 hour potentially. So now, delegate. Me personally, I don't have anything to delegate to anybody, because delegating just means, is there a task that you can hand over to somebody else? This box is very important if you're working in corporate, for example. If you're somebody who works in corporate and you've got some workers, you've got some apprentices who could potentially do jobs for you, then this will be a very important box. You're able to just minimize the workload that you have and apply to other people. This doesn't really apply to me because I don't really have any work that I want to give to anybody else. And then there's delete. So this means what needs to be deleted off your mind today, what needs to just completely vanish. And for example, in my case is that I wanted to go out for a run this morning, which should have taken me about an hour or so. But due to me sleeping in for an extra hour, I do not have the time to do this anymore. So instead of wondering whether I can fit it in later on, I decided to just simply take it off my brain, and I'm just going to completely delete it off, and that's it. Either I'll go back to tomorrow or think about how I can fit it in tomorrow. But for now and for today, just because I know that I can't fit it in, I'm just going to take it completely off my brain. And that's how I'm able to stay clear, and that's how I'm able to be completely in clarity in what I want to do. So the same way you can apply your day out, obviously not as messy as this, is just to kind of explain, but very simple. What is your priority today? What can you schedule for later on today? What can you maybe delegate to other people? Doesn't apply to everyone. And what needs to be gone and deleted from your mind today, as in what needs to completely disappear. And this should hopefully allow you to kind of understand what you need to really prioritize and what you need to deprioritize. And rule number 4 is take advantage of the moment. When you get that quick drive, wanting to do something and wanting to do this and wanting to do that, do not delay the drive. Take advantage of the idea that you wanted to do something that moment and get up and do it. As much as we all like to be disciplined, motivation plays a big part to keep momentum going, as it has for many people in the past. If you struggle to get up and focus on a certain thing, you can do something like a CTA, which stands for call to action. Call to action simply means that you apply an action to yourself that prompts your brain to actively do something. So you could say like a very common CTA is the 3-2-1 rule, which essentially means that the second I pass the number 1, this should prompt my brain to do something. Let's say I need to go and do my laundry. Okay, I'm just gonna lay down a bit, but I'm gonna go on my phone, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. So let's do this again, but now using a CTA. Okay, I need to do my laundry. I'm gonna do my laundry in 3, 2, 1. Boom, getting up and gonna go do it. Might not always work, but sometimes works. But I know some people who have some crazy CTAs. They do something like, I'm going to hit 5 push-ups, and that's my CTA to go and do something. Like, it really is up to you, but it's a beautiful thing because it really just prompts your brain to subconsciously go and do something. So when you have that drive and you get that willpower to do something, stick to it, take advantage of it. There's been so many times where I go up at 1 a.m. in the morning just because I had an idea and I wanted to do something, and I go up downstairs, turn on my computer and started writing and started doing some work. You don't understand how good and useful it can be for you. All in all, these are the 4 main rules that I tend to use in my busy schedule of trying to maintain 9 different hobbies. At the end of the day, you shouldn't manage your time, you should simply manage your attention. So that means where you apply your attention is where your time is going. So if you feel like things are slowing down, you're not getting the things that you want to do, you're not as productive as you are, it's because you're simply not applying the attention where it deserves to be applied. So let's work towards an idea of where we can do that, and hopefully this will allow me to also help me out as well, because I'm on this journey myself.